All right, guys, we got our box in here. In from CW Moss. It's obviously our Model A parts we need. So let's get this box opened and see if we can make this thing run. Inside the box, we have our fuel shutoff valve, and obviously this one works. So we'll get that installed, and this is not factory, but it's definitely a good idea to add in these. It's a fuel strainer, and it actually goes, this threads into the tank right here, and this presses in, so all the fuel that drains out of the tank gets strained through this filter before it even comes into the line. These do have a sediment bowl on them, but the cleaner you can make it right off, the better off you are. And we also got a rebuild kit for our fuel gauge. Comes with a new float, plastic float there, new lens, and of course all the gaskets and stuff to make it work. We got some stuff done to the Model A here. I meant to record it, but before I knew it, I started working on it. I had stuff done. I never started recording. So we got the gas gauge rebuilt back in there. We did get the shut-off valve on the gas tank. We ended up having to solder the screen to the top of it because it was a little loose fitting. That's fine. We got it screwed back in there. Now I'm getting ready to put the metal line back on. It goes from the valve over to the firewall, or through the firewall. And I'll show you what it looks like on the other side. Here's the bulkhead fitting right here. So let's get this line screwed on, tightened up, and we'll go under the hood. Got that line on and attached. Valve seems to work good. On, off. Alright, so our bulkhead actually moved a little bit, so we'll have to straighten that out. That's actually the sediment bowl that goes through the firewall. This line's loose too. We'll get all this tightened up, and then we'll dump some gas in the tank and see if we have it fixed. Let's dump some gas in here and see if we got our leak fixed. So far so good. Let's turn the fuel line on. I hear movement. There's no leaks here, none here. Carburetor's not leaking yet. It's pretty common for them to drip. That's why we always turn it off on the inside there. But we'll get something to catch some a fuel container to catch some old fuel in, and we'll just open this sediment bowl up and drain any junk that was in there out. All right, we'll set you up over here. Should be able to see that. Yep, we got fuel. Appears to be nice and clean. We'll shut that off. So we should have fuel over to our carburetor now. And it's probably time to go ahead and give it a shot. We'll probably have to hook our battery up to jump start it. And we'll see if we can fire this thing over again. All right, we have our jumper cables hooked up. I don't know if this is going to fire. We might need a little bit of starting fluid. Depends on if the carburetor is getting fuel or not. So let's go ahead and give this a shot. We'll put our spark kind of in the middle because we don't know where that's at. Fuel, and we'll put it down a little bit. We'll get ready with our choke. It doesn't sound like we're getting fuel. We'll check spark again, but we just had spark on it a couple of days ago, so I'm betting that's probably good. We're probably not getting fuel in the carburetor yet. A lot of times the needle valve will stick, but let's investigate here. We're just gonna check for spark here real quick again. We popped our leads off, our clips. We'll take the top of the cap off. We'll take the cap off and we'll get right down. You don't have to go that far, but it's easier. And we'll go ahead and turn the key on and check for spark. Yep, we got some fire here, so let's give it another shot. So it looks like we're pulling the carburetor off. We're getting gas obviously through a sediment bowl, through this line, and it's not coming out of the carburetor. So must be needle and seat in there stuck. So we'll just pull it off quick, separate it, and check it out and see what we can do. Got the carburetor off, and I think I've seen the problem already, but since we already have it off, we might as well split the top and bottom half and just have a look and see what's inside. But you're probably not going to be able to see in there. I can't see him from that direction. But the feed spot in there is completely clogged shut with junk. So yeah, let's get this cleaned out, see what it looks like inside. Get this over here in some light so we can see what we're doing. And as you can see, they're very, very simple to work on. There's not a whole lot to them, but maybe you can see down there now, maybe it's just completely clogged shut. So the needle and seat isn't sticking. You can actually see it moving. The float pushes up on it. So that's all working. It's just completely shut. And if you look down the fuel bowl, that is completely disgusting in there. So definitely a good thing we pulled this apart. We'll get it cleaned out. Show you real quick how this thing works. Like I said, they're super simple. There's a float. There's a pin that holds the float in. A needle and seat goes inside. Goes in that seat there. And a couple jets and a butterfly valve. And that's pretty much all these things are. Fuel bowl, of course. But I just jammed this down there, and that is what's clogging up. It looks like mud. So that's just what happens when these things sit for extended periods of time. Same thing within the fuel bowl. I don't know what all that red sediment, it looks just like dirt, but not sure how it got in there, but we'll get it cleaned out. All right, we got it all disassembled, sprayed out with carburetor cleaner. All the holes opened up, compressed air blowed through every one of them. If you miss one, it's probably gonna be the one that gives you issues. So we just hit them all, cleaned everything thoroughly. Fuel bowl looks much better. So let's throw this thing back together. Fortunately, these are super easy to work on. Got the carburetor all back together. You can hear the float moving around in there, so hopefully it's not sticking. Let's throw it back on there, add some fuel to it, and see if it fires over. We're all hooked back up here. I think it's time to give it another shot. Like I said, fortunately, these things are super easy to work on. They were, it was back in a time where you pretty much had to know how to work on a vehicle, to drive a vehicle. And with just a couple simple hand tools, you can pretty much do any job on these. Let's give this another shot. Oh yeah, fire right up. That's amazing. It actually is running, it's actually running really good. We turn our spark up a little bit, turn our gas down. That needs a tiny bit of a tune up, but yeah, it's running really good. Let's fire that back up. This is the choke, but it's also an adjustment. There's an adjustment out there too. Let's let it run for a second here, and we'll go out. Loading up a little bit. Pop our battery cable up here so we don't overcharge. Alright guys, after a lot of years, it is running on its own power. Let's jump over here and do a little carburetor adjustment. Here we go, smooth them right out. Leave it right there for a little bit. It's not smoking, it's not really doing anything it's not supposed to be doing. Let's see if it'll idle down for us. Not bad. See if we can fine-tune that adjustment while it's idling here and catch it before it stalls. So I think we need to go back in. Fire's right back up. That is super amazing. Might have to adjust the timing a little bit all the way down. It might be close. Put it about in the middle. We'll let it chug away there. Let's go back out and try and make that adjustment while it's idling here. I think right about there is about as good as we're going to get it for right now, but that's not bad. They say when these things are running correctly, you can actually count the blades on that fan, and you can almost do that for sitting for years and years and years, and just now getting it fired up. I call that pretty good. All right guys, we got it chugging away here. Seems to be doing good. I think it's time to back it out of the garage for the first time in a long time. Alright guys, we got purring pretty good here. Try and keep it from stalling. We got idled down pretty good. Let's go peek under the hood here. Yeah. These things have a very, very unique sound. Here we want the hood. You can hear every single stroke of that motor. Put the timing back down, let it relax out. This other lever of course is the throttle. really amazing how long these things can sit. You fire them up, do a couple minor adjustments, and they are just purring. I like just hearing these things run. Completely different from modern. Alright guys, we're done playing for a little bit, so we're going to turn the gas off and let it run out so it's not sitting there in the carburetor, just in case it starts leaking. It's always a good idea when you don't know how long they're going to sit to run them out of gas. But again, this thing is running absolutely amazing for as long as it's sat. Throw our timing up, you can hear it idle right down. A little bit more fine tuning we can do, but overall it's ready for the open road, kinda.